Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So what chapter? What's the name of the chapter?
9th chapter.
Most confidential knowledge.
Yeah, perfect. So we are in Bhakti Yoga and today he will reveal the most confidential knowledge. He started already revealing yesterday and today he will conclude. So Bhakti Yoga is literally discussed in every single chapter, right? Indirectly, and in fact, Prabhupada brings that person purport. Right. So before we start off a continuation of the chapter, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimrantasya Jnananchala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatika He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Let's see the continuation of the most confidential knowledge. In other words, the continuation of Krishna's love letter to us, right? Personally, he's writing everything. So from here, you can see a lot of personal touch from Krishna. So that is Bhakti Yoga, right? Bhakti Yoga is all about personal touch. Yeah, the most confidential knowledge. Just a quick summary, and as usual, let's pay our obeisances to Shishi Radha Govinda. So we saw 8th chapter as a tangent and 7th and 9th chapter very similar, right? We are in 7th talking more general in terms of the energies of Krishna, internal, external energy, and the 4 kinds of pious people and 4 kinds of people who are impious, right? So, and in the 9th chapter, we are going in depth. Let's see the things, hearing about Krishna. So the only qualification is you should hear, Shrinu, right? So any practicals will always have a precedence, right, of hearing. So today he's just given an introduction class, and 7th was more like a prefix. And in the 10th chapter, he will get more in terms of very personal conversation of his opulence, his friends. And in the 11th chapter, he will display the same. So that's the continuity of the entire chapter module. And we saw the hearing about Krishna and what is a qualification. So what is a qualification to know about Krishna? Should you be a doctor, engineer, a graduate?
No, Mataji, devotee, pure devotee.
So you should be a devotee. Should we know Sanskrit to read Bhagavad Gita or to approach Krishna?
No, not necessarily.
No, Mataji.
Not quite at all, right? Hare Krishna. So the next one is Aisvarya, Jnana, Krishna. So this talks about his various Aisvaryams and our relationship and his relationship with material world. He's here also, he's there also. So all these are very contradictory for human mind. But for devotees, they call it Acinta, Bheda, Abheda philosophy because, for them it's a wonder. And this philosophy is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where it is like, he's present. Example, when he saved Parikshit, he was inside, fighting the Brahmasthana. And at the same time, he was outside present as Krishna. How is it possible? But that is possible because that's a speciality of Krishna, right? And we saw already pious and impious in 7th chapter. Here we are seeing an extension of this called the non-worshippers and worshippers. And Krishna is the supreme object of worship, right? When the object and the objective becomes Krishna, then, we the glories of directly worshipping Krishna, right? So this is what we saw. We covered the hearing. Here, the most confidential knowledge is depending on the faith, right? Depending on the faith, one completely stays out. And Guhya Thamam means most confidential. Which is Guhyam? Just the confidential knowledge. Which one is that? Which chapters talk about the confidential knowledge?
2nd and 3rd chapters, and it tells about body and soul, difference between body and soul.
Perfect. So that is the first level, which is Guhyam, which is the confidential knowledge. And what is the qualification in the 2nd chapter required in the 2nd chapter required for a devotee or for Arjuna for that matter? What is the qualification for talking to Krishna or listening to Krishna?
Friend.
Friend and a devotee.
9th chapter, what is the new quality introduced?
Bhakti.
2nd chapter introduces Bhakti. 2nd itself. So what is the new quality introduced in the 9th chapter? First shloka. What?
Faith.
Faith is there. When you're a Bhakta itself, faith is inbuilt. So there is one more quality. He says that if you want to be, dear to me, you need to have one more quality.
Gnani.
Non-envious. Non-envious.
Non-envious. Anasuyave. It's right there on the screen. Hare Krishna. So why I'm saying this, and I kept it in the screen, because this is what happens, right? Many times we keep telling, where is Krishna? I can't see him. He's right there. He's present, right? So this is like a screen, and this is very legit, and it is also highlighted and underlined. But if you see, when our focus is on something else, of course, in this case, we are on Krishna, but even then, we are not able to see what's right before our eyes. And how do we call our eyes as perfect? And how can we call that we can depend on the eyes, right? So this is why what's very important is, even if it is highlighted, even if it is underlined, and even if it comes right there, which means that even if Krishna is sitting right before our eyes, we'll probably, or if he knocks the door and he says, hi, how are you? Today we will say that, hey, Krishna, are you Krishna? Okay, from which stage are you from? And if he comes in this form, we will never be able to understand, because our mind is so concocted, right? So we are in this material world with full of doubts, suspicion, envy, so all this is mixed in our mind, right? We don't have faith in the first place. So even if Krishna comes, we keep, analyzing, why this, why that. So that's our situation. So clearly, Lord imparts the most confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna. Why? Because his confidential is already discussed in 2nd chapter. More confidential, yes, more confidential. I didn't ask you. Most confidential, you all know, is devotional service itself, discussed in the 9th chapter, which is Bhakti. What is a more confidential, and where is it discussed? Little difficult, this one. In the 7th and 8th. So this knowledge which brings us about enlightenment about Krishna consciousness. So basically, what do we do in 7th chapter? It's the energies of Krishna, right? So that makes us feel happy, enlightened, right? It gives us Jnana. So that knowledge is called the more confidential. Most we know, I am not the body, right? That's the beginning. And the most we know, devotional service. So the more confidential is which connects us, right? So I'm not the body is fine. We have to reach Krishna. So there should be a connection link. So there is a little bit of enlightenment of Krishna conscious, right? His energies about himself, all that is spoken in 7th chapter, and 8 is a tangent to link both. The questions of 7th chapter is answered, right? So only when you have doubts cleared, we can proceed. So that's what he says. So we did all this, and we saw the 9 process of bhakti. Sorry. And so we saw the second one, that it is the most important thing. Räja-vidyä Guhyam pavitram idam uttamam pratyaksha-avagamam dharmyam susukam kartum avyayam pratyaksha, right? So directly you are perceiving. So that is the speciality, how, of the particular. And why is it called Räja-vidyä? Because it's a king of knowledge. There is an exclusive book on this. We also saw the stages of reaction and the stages of the sins which gets eradicated by following devotional service, because our sins, if we have to always we have this feeling, right? I have this sin and I want to suffer a little bit. But if I have to suffer a little bit, I need many janmas, right? So that's why Krishna is telling, okay, if you're a devotee, I'll remove your sin so that you really want to come to me. Okay. Just like, you make a lot of mistake and father says, no, you're grounded for 1 month. Okay. But then he also says, okay, I know you're grounded, but I don't feel like keeping this. So therefore I'm going to relax a little bit of grounding and, it's okay. I will relax and, from 1 week, I'm going to make it only 2 days since you're a well-behaved child. So that happens at every level, even as a prisoner. We are prisoners only. And as a prisoner also, after he serves a portion of the notice, due to good behavior, they try and reduce, right? So so after all this, now the third section talks about 2 categories, which are the fools, and that is the atheist, of course, and the other one, the qualities of a Mahatma. So the atheist obviously takes shelter of Asura, and obviously the theist, who are Mahatma, who's also called, what is the other name for Mahatma? What is the other name? Opposite of Mahatma is Duratma, but I'm asking, what is the other name of Mahatma?
Jnani?
Uttamadhikari.
Jnani, we can say. What more? You have many names, so you can boldly start telling.
Uttamadhikari.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Uttamadhikari. One more. Dhira, Sitatir Muni. All these will be the other names. Why I tell is it will be interchangeably used. Okay, so these are the, and we also saw that he Jananti, Ajananti, and Avajananti, right? Understanding Krishna is the truth, which is a Jananti, knows everything. And one who does not, who's ignorant, comes through the cycle of birth and death. Worse are those who are Avajanantis, where you have misunderstanding and that will lead to bondage. And therefore they suffer a lot. So this is also said in Ishopa, the Sambhutim, right? Sambhutim.
I think Harniyartha knows ma.
So there is no delete activity.
Sambhutim means somebody who is, Krishna is only Sambhutim, which is absolute, independent. Sambhutim, right? So all of us are dependent, right? So that's what it says. Sambhutim. So basically the entire concept of the 3 shlokas talks about, how we are linked to Krishna and how independent of Krishna. So even demigods are, they are dependent on Krishna. So only Krishna is original and independent of all, right? So that is very clearly brought in Isho. So that's the same thing which is taken here. So we spoke about Rakshashim Asurim, which means how you take support or, complete relying on the ashram. Here he's talking about Devam Prakritam. So Mahatma, they are under the protection of divine energy. We also saw this story and we saw Dridhavrataha, like Prabhupada at the age of 69, takes a cargo ship with 40 rupees in his pocket. We don't even step out of the house with 40 rupees and knows no one. There are no placards. And still without placards, he goes, stands there and does Sankirtan. And today ISKCON is the largest in the world, right? External qualities we already saw how he is. And the summary of it is that Eka is just one without, right? And Krishna is both light as well as energy and person, right? So one who engages in this cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord, right? They worship the Supreme Lord and as diverse in many and in the universal form. So the Jnanis, mainly, and the Ashtanga Yogis, and mainly the lot of neophytes are very fond of the Vishwarupa, which is going to come up later. So we will have to start today with section D, which is 16 to 25. Krishna is the supreme object of worship. Now he is going to directly hit what is a process. Now this talks about 3 categories of people again. So first we'll talk mainly, one main category is worshippers of universal form. Right? So universal form is Vishnu Rupa and Vishwarupa, and there are not many temples, maybe 1 or 2 very fancy temples, but not the very, very big, things. Because if I am going to ask each one of you here in this room, right? So if I'm telling Anirban Basu, Prabhu, please get flowers for Vishwarupa. I ask Anu, can you please, get, make some boha for, Vishwarupa. And if I ask, Sham Prabhu, can you get some material to stitch? We will never be able to match, right? Because our deities in the house, Krishna comes in a smaller version, so we can dress him up like a child. But for a Vishwarupa, we just won't be able to manage it up. right? Who's going to read? You can go ahead and raise your hand and you can start unmuting. You don't have to ask me. I will start chanting the 9.16. Hare Krishna. Aham kraturaham yajna swadhaham aham aushadam mantro aham avajyam aham agnir aham hutam. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead and read this 9.16.
But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So basically, he says that anything you do, whether you do ritual or any sacrifices, to what sacrifice we do. What is the name of the sacrifice we are doing in Kali Yuga?
Chanting
Chanting
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Absolutely. So chanting the Hare Krishna. So sacrifice means what gives joy to Krishna. What gives joy to Vishnu is what it is. And who is the Yagna Purusha?
Vishnu.
Vishnu. There is also one more person who enjoys Yagna besides Vishnu. So Vishnu is the highest.
Arjuna. Sorry, Indra.
Indra. So that is why the whole Govardhan Leela came, right? Because it was supposed to be done for Indra. But the ultimate enjoyer is Vishnu. And the Yagna Kund is considered as a mouth of Vishnu, and the fire is the tongue of Vishnu. So everybody, a very important point which I want to tell you is many times people think Pitru Puja is done for Pitru. Yes, true. But so they give everything for the Pitru. So if a Pitru likes alcohol or things, some of them even argue telling we can give because Pitru loves it. But understand the puja is done for the sake of Pitru and it is not direct. It is going through Vishnu. So your first step is that you are telling Vishnu, please accept this and sanctify this and give it. And also if there is any sin done by my Pitru, please forgive him. So many of them get confused that, it's a directly, you have a communication link. No, it's always via Vishnu. And obviously a tasted prasad from Vishnu, he will give and he will also elevate him from wherever he is. That's the purpose of Pitru Puja. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant, I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Right? So he says, Hare Krishna. So he says he's the butter, fire and the offering, and he says all of this, right? He's a transcendental chant. So everything about him is only Krishna, right? So he is telling, and clarified butter is key. So Hare Krishna, 9.17. Pitaham asya jagato matadata pitamaha vedam pitramom kara riksamaya jurevacha. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please go ahead and read.
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rug, the Sam, and the Yajurvedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says, I am the father of the universe, the mother, right? So he is the Bijam. Bijam means seed-giving father, right? And the grandsire, right? So he is the object of knowledge. He's a purifier and syllable Om. Very important, syllable Om. So everything starts with Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Sak, everything. Like you take any mantra, right? What is it? Maybe you can tell me a couple of mantras starting with Om.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yeah, one more. Hare Krishna. Om Suklam Bharadam Vishnum Sasivaradam Sadat Pujam Prasanna Vardam Dhyaye. Correct, right? Om.
Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurvasvaha.
Correct. Perfect. Thank you so much. So all this starts with Om. So that Omkara is also Krishna. Now you may ask why in Maha Mantra we don't start with Om. Because Maha Mantra itself starts with Krishna. So it's a direct version. Krishna has all the relationship, right? So he's a father, mother, support and grandsire. Data implies creator or supporter. Purifier, the support matcher which helps us to purify our constitution position is Krishna. Omkara is the transcendental vibration in all Vedic mantras is therefore Krishna. Right? So he says very clearly, because all the hymns have Omkara, right? Therefore, all of them are Krishna himself. In the material existence, we create different relationships, right? and who are nothing but Krishna's marginal. So whatever we see, like husband, mother, child, they are all the marginal energies of Krishna, right? Under the creation of Prakriti, and each of them have done their own karma to get their body. They are also part and parcels of Krishna. So should we be attached to them? Yes, but with the thought that they are also parts and parcels of Krishna. So we are all in a jail. In this jail, we try and connect, but we should see that Krishna's abode is here and we should all get out of it. So if you really, really love your family, then you should do devotional service more rather than thinking, oh my God, my family is not supporting me. But no, you want your family out of jail, right? If your wife and child tells you, or if your husband tells you, we will be in jail only permanently, what would you do? No, we have to break the jail, right? So that's exactly what you're doing. So it's okay. You don't have to fight with them. But then idea deep inside is, let's break the jail and take everybody to Goloka Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Yes or no? Come on, I need someone to answer.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yes, 9.18. Please go ahead and read. You're muted. Mataji, you have to unmute and read. Hare Krishna.
I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refugee, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed.
So he
O
says,
Arjuna, go ahead. Sorry. O Arjuna, I control heat, the rain, and the drought. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both being and non-being are in me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says, I am the goal, the sustainer, the master of the witness and the refuge and the most dear friend. Right? So he very clearly in the 6th chapter also he says this. Here also he says, the most dear friend. I am the creator and the annihilator. So everything which happens, whether it's a day annihilation during night of Brahma or our death, or whether it's a complete annihilation on the death of Brahma, all are there. And he is the Bijam. Also, he says that heat, drought, rain, everything is controlled by him. And he offers immortality as well as death personified. Example for Kamsa, he was death personified. But Shishupal was also death personified, right? Of course, Shishupal was more envious. He was a classic example of fear, was Kamsa, right? So there is civil law and criminal law. You make a mistake in the road, right? Anyway, you have to follow the law. Choice is yours. You either follow the discipline of the constitution or you go against it and you get arrested, which means criminal laws will apply. Same way, you go with Krishna, you have your civil law, you can go to Goloka Vrindavan, or you don't listen and you go with Maya Devi, you'll have a criminal law. So anyway, you're following the law. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please go ahead and read.
Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice seeking the heavenly planets worship me indirectly. They take birth on the planet of Indra where they enjoy godly delights.
So they say those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, right? So somebody who is drinking Soma juice, and many people think Soma juice is alcohol, which is not, because when drinking Soma juice, you get purified. Drinking alcohol, one does not get purified. So this reminds me with one of the hippie devotees starting at the stage when Prabhupada was there. So they were telling that the drug, right, or the thing, he said that we can see Krishna. We are able to. So Prabhupada used to tell, if if you're on LSD, so you don't get to see Krishna, you only get to hallucinate, right? And if you get out of it, only then you'll have bhakti. So Soma juice is mistaken, but seeking heavenly planets, they worship indirectly, right? So even worshipping the demigods, the wish to worship the demigod is understood by Paramatma and he grants that wish. And they take birth in Indra Loka. And what is the other name for Indra Loka? Very commonly we use.
Tapaloka.
Huh?
Swarga. Tapaloka.
No, Prabhu.
Swarga.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mataji. Thanks for trying, Prabhu. Swarga. Very commonly we say, no, Swarga Loka. We'll go to Swargam. That is also temporary, right? So if you see the that obituary column in the paper, you would say everyone, he reached the heavenly abode, heavenly abode. Why? Till he reached the lotus feet of God. That's what used to be said earlier, right? We all used to tell Om Shanti, but today we, most of the time, those days they used to tell, the soul, he has reached the God, or he has reached the lotus feet of God. This is what used to be the statement. Today people, we become so fancy, right? We say RIP, rest in peace. Rest in peace does not apply because soul cannot rest in the first place. Forget about peace or not. It doesn't rest because there, the Krishna conscious is not inertia. Soul cannot be in inertia. It's always active, 24/7. Right. So therefore, the soul will be actively searching for another body to run. So that's something you have to remember. Now, once you go to heaven, is that a permanent place? No. It's like your visa. I'm going abroad and I take a visa, but on the expiry of visa, I'm back on earth. Why earth? Because earth is earth is supposed to be like a prison. So everything, you come back here. Now tell me anything, why is there no direct flight from heaven? Is there a direct flight, yes or no, to heaven to Goloka Vrindavan? Or why should people come back here? It says that when you have enjoyed the pleasure, you return to the mortal planet again, right? So only flickering happiness you get, right? Shanchala, temporary. Why so? Why can't I go from heaven to Goloka?
Because it is said that humans is the only form which has the capability to get immortality. I mean, why it is so, I'm not sure, like why humans only, but it's just said that humans only has the capability. So in this Swargalok, we only get the fruitful actions. Whatever we have done, we get the fruitful actions, which is good actions to get in the Swargalok.
Prabhu, your second answer is perfect. You go to heaven for your fruitive action or pious deeds, that's perfect. But the rule that, earth is only qualified for direct elevation, sorry, I might have to correct. Because every planet Krishna will treat equally, so everybody has equal access to Goloka Vrindavan. Right? But still, why do we say it's difficult? So if there is a direct flight from Swargaloka, yes, there is. I will answer that part of the question. But why do they still say that you come back to the earth?
Because they don't do any karmas that goes to the Goloka.
We don't want to do karma. To go to Goloka, we need only akarma. So there also.
Because of the desire?
Perfect. Close. Thank you so much, Mataji. Who said that desire?
Hemangini.
Oh, Hemang. Okay, thank you so much. You're reading very well. Thank you. So coming back to this, you do karma everywhere, right? But so will you do in heaven. But what happens is heaven, the possibility of enjoy, already you are enjoyed even here. In a place like a material world itself, you are enjoyed. That is earth itself. And you've gone there. Heaven is full of enjoyment, full of luxury, right? You enjoy, you pump, adrenaline pumps, you have so much juice. There is no restriction, right? You can go to any girl, you can enjoy with anyone. It's not considered wrong, right? Over there, you have all Rati, Ramba. So you imagine all kinds of desires can be satisfied. So that's the specialty of our, heavenly planets. So if you are having so much of blessing, over there and so much of luxury there, with little luxury itself, you enjoyed so much, you did so much good and you went to heaven. Now seeing the heaven, you think you will be able to do anything. It's not possible. Just like this, right? You have a challenge in doing japa 1 round here and I go and put you in Switzerland and tell you, okay, I'm going to put you in Switzerland. I wanted to do 16 rounds of japa today. You have to, no way I can do it. So cold. I can't get up at 4 o'clock. It's freezing. And second thing, just look how beautiful. And they have a touring program. You don't have any idea how much I have to pack. I have to leave. My vehicle comes at 5 o'clock for a tour. And I just don't have time to breathe. I come at the night, right? That's how your heaven will be, full of fun-filled enjoyment. So where will you have time? And thank you, Arun Prabhu. Your second half was perfect, right? So that is the reason. So basically, you go. There are direct flights from everywhere. But once we go there, there is a possibility. That's why they say, that Loka is so blessed because the tendency to forget Krishna is very less here. Whereas as you go to the upper planets, the tendency is higher because of the enjoyment. So results of demigod worship is karma kanda. And what happens, how does it happen is you perform yagna, you get swarga. When they acquire credits, right, they go to demigod. And if you're so talented, you will also become one of the demigod. You enjoy a lot of pleasures, right? And then you come back. That is the result of demigod worship. Now, 9.22 is very important. It's a memory shloka. Hare Krishna. Ananya-bhakti ma bhashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Hare Krishna.
Says that whatever someone lacks, he will, whatever you have, he's going to preserve. So many people say, oh, Krishna is going to take what I have. First of all, we don't have anything for him to take. So he will never take he's going to preserve, and he will give what we lack. So many of them say, oh, you can't, you can't do this. You don't have intelligence. Oh, for me, understanding English itself is difficult. I can't even present. And we have many Prabhus and Matajis who have challenged, they present. And I always tell it's not an English grammar school. Same way, most of us don't know Sanskrit. It doesn't matter. We are still able to chant shlokas. May not be great, but at least we are grappling with it. We are not like struggling. We're not running away, right? So he just definitely gives us what we lack. And this is the picture. Can anyone tell me the picture? What picture is this? Hare Krishna, can it's in the chat. Anyone tell me?
The boy is Krishna.
It's the person, I forgot the name, who blinded himself to get rid of distractions.
Perfect. But what is he called? Do you remember? Anyone remembers the name of this person?
His name.
Bilva Mangal.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Mangala Thakur. Yeah.
He's Bilva Mangala Thakur, who actually had 2 births. I think all of you, we did the story also, right? So, he, he was absolutely lusty with girls. But finally, at one stage, he blinds himself, and Krishna personally comes. So there's something called Anushmaran and Anukaran. Do not blind yourself. These are exalted devotees. You follow their footpath, but you don't copy them, right? So you have to follow, right? Take the good things, but don't copy literally everything, because Shiva also drank poison. We cannot drink poison, right? That's called suicide, and our bodies will be ghosts. So we will follow whatever the good things they are spoken. And 9.23, Hare Krishna. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayan vitaha yepi mameva kaunteya yajatta vidhi purvakam. Hare Krishna.
Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. Right.
So very clearly, whatever you do, whether you take 100 coconuts or bribe, Ganesha with it, anything else, it's ultimately him, right? Why? Because all of them get powers from them. So yat pallapada viyukama vinidaya kumbha dvande pranama gane vidvam vigatum alamasya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusha Majami. So what is he saying? So again and again he's saying Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, and that's the prayers offered by Brahma, telling that you are the ultimate God. And this particular shloka talks about Ganesha, right? He's telling, I offer my obeisance and please give me the power, O Govinda, for me to rule the 3 worlds. Because if I rule the 3 worlds, without obstacle, I want to rule, and give me the energy. So the devatas are praying. So whatever we offer to them indirectly are for him. But if we tell them, like, okay, is it okay to pray devatas? What is your motive? So if you are going to have a business transaction, I'm going to give you coconut. Oh, they're not short of coconut. Okay, I'm going to walk on this burning fire. No Shastra allows that, because this body belongs to God. We do not have any right to inflict harm to our body, right? Or mind or soul. The Paramatma also suffers, right? Along with you. So no, it's not allowed. But then we do that when we pray the Devadas, telling, we're not telling leave the demigod, but then you pray telling that, oh, Ganesha, help me to reach Krishna consciousness. Help me to remove the obstacles. That's perfectly fine, because even in act of devotion, they say that you pray Ganesha to remove the obstacles for devotional service. But if you're telling, hey Ganesha, I have a yellow color dress. Can you get me 2 more green? I mean, that might sound silly, but something higher. My son is studying medicine and my daughter will, can you help? Then it becomes transactional, right? And even if someone wants to do transactional, you can directly ask Vishnu. So 23, demigod worship without the knowledge is called avidhi purvakam, right? Vidhi is knowledge, avidhi is opposite of knowledge. So that is why, one second. It is that of a less intelligent water. So if you pour water in the roots, right, that is sufficient to take care of the entire plant. Instead of that, what happens is you go and try each leaf. Maybe in a pot you still can succeed, but then in a huge tree, when will you do? Same way, feeding different parts of the body, it's not required, right? Only through the mouth we feed the stomach, and that's fine. Same way, for example, let's take an example of income tax, right? We have to pay income tax. if you pay income tax to the government, right? You do an online transfer, whatever, that's the right way. You don't pay, and this collection agent comes to your house, you pay through him, it's fine, but you pay to him, telling that, okay, my tax amount is 5 lakh, but I give you 5,000 rupees. Please take care. Is that right? What do you call that? What do you call giving money to?
Bribing.
So if that is what is called in the material world, then what do you call giving money to a devata who's been asked by Krishna to manage the world for you to enjoy something material? Isn't that also bribing?
Maybe.
So that is, relationship with the God. So what happens to such worshippers is going to be explained in the next verse, right? This verse. Hare Krishna. Aham hi sarvasya yagnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tatvena tascha vandite. Hare Krishna.
I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
Very clear, right? He says that I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. So he says that he is the only enjoyer. That's why he is the only Purusha, right? Every one of us keep telling I'm a man, right? Or whatever. Or, we are addicted. We have to listen to men. No, the only enjoyer is Krishna. Right, so that is very clear. So that is why we say, which will come in the 10th chapter, Arjuna will offer prayers, right? Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajambibhum. Very clearly that he is the only Purusha. Right, so this is what it is, and I'm the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Krishna is telling, and therefore, who does not recognize, obviously fall down. Why? Because where else they can go? They cannot go to spiritual sky and keep arguing. No, hey Krishna, why are you sitting there? I will sit there. Doesn't work like that, right? So that is why. So 2.9.25, Hare Krishna. Yati deva vrata deva prithriyati prithrivrata bhutani yati bhutejna.
Marasam.
Adhyagno picha mam. Hare Krishna. Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and the spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is in Isho also, right? The 10th shloka in Isho very clearly talks about 9, 10, 11 talks about Vidhya, and 12, 13, 14 talks about Sambhudim, talks about Krishna and demigod's relationship. So the 13th shloka talks about very clearly mentioning that, those who pray a particular destination go there. So if you buy a ticket to Switzerland, if you buy a ticket to, let's say, Delhi, you're not going to land in Switzerland. So your destination and the ticket, many of them tell, whichever God you worship, all gods are same. Whichever God you worship, your destination will be same. So is it like if I buy any train ticket, go to a counter, or if I go to any bus stand and climb any bus, will I reach my destination? No, right? All roads lead to Rome. How will literally all roads lead to Rome? Right? So if I'm going to walk in this road, where will I go? In India, I will only be in the water, right? So it's just it's very nice to, metaphor it, but then it's not really ideological, right? So, so that is why Anya Devahu Sambhava, Anya Devahu Sambhava, Idi Shushrumadirana, Enastad Vijachakshure. Very clearly says, whichever road, what you take, right, is what you will do. Sambudhim cha vinasam cha yastadvedo bhayam saha asambudhim mitrum titva asambudhim mrityum ashnute. Very clearly, whatever you do is what you will reach, right? So what you take, right? So typically a road not taken remains a road not taken. And if you take birth among the ghosts, if you worship ghosts, so many people get confused that worshipping ghost is doing the Pitru Puja. No. Worshipping ghost is not Pitru Puja. Worshipping ghost is like Pitru Puja is your duty, you have to do. But worshipping ghost is not Pitru Puja. It is like, what do you call?
Black magic.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. It's all categories of black magic, calling the ghost, whatever you call Oja board and all that, right? So all that will not come under the category of worshipping Pitra. So these are two different things. In Pitra Puja, that's why I gave you a highlight. It's praying Vishnu only. But here, you're paying them, you're using negative energies to succeed. So everything is tapasya, positive or negative. When you do positively towards Krishna, you progress. It's all called the right side, right limb of tapas. And if you do the negativity is whatever you told, right? Ghost, black magic, all of them are there. They are also there mentioned in the Shastras, but there is also called the good Shastras and the negative energies which are done, right? And they are very dangerous, right, to themselves. Now, people may get scared. Oh, like for example, when I told my mom, we never used to believe in ghosts from childhood. So when I told my mom, hey, ghost, she said, shoo, keep quiet, don't tell. So me not telling is not going to change the fact. And my realization after reading Bhagavad Gita, I came to know, oh, ghosts are for real. Okay, black magic, maybe we thought, but we were not very sure, but we've seen or heard. But ghost, we were thinking, oh no, and all that. But then after knowing, I realized, okay, what is ghost? Ghost is something which is without a body, right? Only spirit soul without a body. So it is there. But should we worry about ghost and black magic? No. Because the moment you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you are having this globe around you, right? A protection. You call this a halo on your head. Likewise, you have a complete, a shader around you. And there is no way, anything can even come in that space. So that's the thing, because power of Krishna is so high that one cannot imagine. So just that, why do we tell chant in the morning? Because it gives you energy and protection for the entire day, right? Why do many sages chant, as soon as you get up, you look at the God, because it's so powerful, right? It offers a protection. So so they can't just enter the territory. Just like how in the movies you tell, right? Ghosts can't enter the temple. So your entire body becomes a temple. So where can the ghost even come close to? Right? Hare Krishna. So anybody wants to be possessed by ghost or wants to play Oja mode, if you chant Maha Mantra, you won't be able to get the ghost inside you. Is that okay?
No.
It's okay. Okay. No, I'm just telling because just in case somebody wants to follow black magic or something, then we all have lost that opportunity. Yeah. Okay. So summary section E. The glories of directly worshipping Krishna. So far, we were doing a lot of jalebis, right? Why we should do this, we should Ananya-bhakti. So now we're going to directly, he's going to conclude. So what does he conclude? Menu, right? So Krishna is telling, okay, now I think this is a love letter. Therefore, I have told you, what form you should worship, what I like, what I don't like, what are my qualities, what are my energies, right? This is my energy, my opulence. And this is like a real short summary, right? He says, okay, now, since you're going to come and live with me and you're already in the process and you're going to start getting yourself trained, let me give you my menu card. Right? So he says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yume Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhaktya Upaktam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha. Hare Krishna.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna.
So very nice, right? Unlike our guests who come with a big menu card. So, this reminds me of my uncle. So he used to come and tell me, like, we're visiting, just keep it simple, just, have rasam and one side dish and then make this vegetable or just make a couple of this. And it used to be a huge list. And you call it simple, and then you say sambar, and then gravy, and all this will go on. So once I'm very outspoken. So I said, uncle, you have to define simple, because if you don't give me the definition of simple, according to me, simple is only rasam rice and probably one vegetable. That is simple. Anything beyond that, to me, is not simple, right? So, and as you add more items, it becomes exotic, and it actually is an exotic lunch. So that time, each time, I remember this. So patram pushpam palam toyam. So he's so simple, right? And he talks about love. You have to give in love. That's the criteria. So bhaktya, abhaktya, see, twice he's saying. So that means he's highlighting the criteria, not the content, right? You have to give. And so everyone easily can ask this leaf, right? Tulsi. So even if you all do not have tulsi in the house, and I had this issue earlier when I was in an apartment, whatever tulsi I buy used to die. Right? And we also have some devotees who say, if you have a tulsi plant, if you are truly devotional, tulsi plant will grow. It's fine. It could be true, but it is also true that if the tulsi plant doesn't grow, it's not that you're not devotional, right? So Tulsi Devi can be in any form. So you can even take tulsi or buy tulsi, or there are some places where tulsi, does not grow. So it doesn't matter. Buy or take it, dry it in the sun, put it in a bottle and keep. I always do that. because there may be a day when, it's drying up. I don't run short of tulsi, right? And you don't get, worried. Oh my God, tulsi is not there. Does Krishna hate me? No. So put it in a bottle and keep it. Dry it and keep it in a bottle. It's perfectly fine. So that you'll have access. So you can always keep it. A flower, very easily accessible. Fruit, right? You can do. If nothing is there, water. And even if you do not have access to water, toyam can also mean tears. So if you, out of love, you give one drop of tear, he accepts that. Such an easy menu card. And a bumper offer is whatever you offer, he eats, but the quantity does not come down, right? It doesn't come down at all. So that's the, that's the speciality of Krishna, right? So the quantity always stays intact because he can eat with the eyes. How? Acinta, Bheda, Abheda philosophy, we saw, right? So that's his quality. He has such a quality, he can eat with his mouth, not necessarily, he can also eat by his eyes, by his look. Hare Krishna. 9.27. Yat karosi yat ashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushvama darpanam. Hare Krishna.
O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. Hare Krishna.
So he says everything, whatever you're doing, right? Whatever you eat, whatever you give away, and whatever you do should be done as an offering. So very clearly, he says that it should be done as an offering to me, right? So whatever you do, you should offer to Krishna. Why is he saying you have to offer? Because if you do not offer to Krishna, the food becomes sin, right? And we'll be eating only sin. And this has been explained earlier also. So now he is trying to link it by telling whatever you do. And also, whatever you're supposed to eat, whatever you're allowed to eat, right, is your sanctioned food. So are we just interested in sanctioned food? Because we have to go to Goloka Vrindavan. So we are keeping it to Krishna and eating prasadam, which is sanctified food, right? So many of them tell, is Krishna conscious is about vegetarianism? No. Hitler was also a vegetarian. Is he Krishna conscious? Now you all tell me. Is Hitler a Krishna conscious person?
No.
No, Mataji.
So can we call vegetarian is a great thing? Monkeys are also vegetarian, right? Is a vegetarian. So is vegetarianism great? Vegetarianism is good, right? Because it talks about humanity and compassion. Agree. If you're compassionate, you can't kill. So, but it is not the, right? So we are talking about Krishnatarian, which means whatever we eat is what Krishna eats and what he likes. So that's more important. Right? So most confidential knowledge, following acts as an offering to Krishna, right? Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away and austerities, you just offer. So many tell that I want to do charity. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. Charity should be done till the end. But what do? Can you just offer it to Krishna? If you're going to give charity as food, offer. If you're giving money, give it to Krishna. Keep it before Krishna. Take it and give. So that becomes charity. Whatever is the difference in offering of the pure devotees, right? So that's what it is. So I used to tell once initially to my, to Bhagavad Gita teacher, Shiksha Guru, she, I was, when we had floods, we were doing donation, right? And for me, initially, prasadam means like during Krishna Jayanti, exotic with so much ghee. So we made just, some idlis, pongal and sambar. So I was telling, it's very ordinary food. Should I give to Krishna? She said, yes, right? You can, you should, in fact. So she said, anyway, you're doing charity. So when you do charity, and that time I didn't understand. I was feeling very bad, because we are with this exalted mind. Krishna is so special. We will serve him only once a year or twice a year, whatever, on exalted special days, and we will give such great thing on Janmashtami. Yes, do great things on Janmashtami. But whatever things you do is what you give him. So this clarifies, right? Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam. He's saying that. But when we don't read Bhagavad Gita, we don't know. For us people, what we do in the family, ancestors, is what is a fact. That is a Veda. To really read Veda. So you know that even every day drinking water, you can give to Krishna and take it as prasad. So for many who say that in the house, I have my spouse supporting me. Children, doesn't matter. You don't have to. Spiritual practice need not be seen in the same way which you are doing. Let them start with whatever. And what you can do is offer prasad, right? What's the difference in the offering of pure devotees and us? Quality of devotion. That's the only thing. So if there is a, so someone keeps asking, does Arjuna do japa? No. Why is Arjuna great? He's not even doing japa. We are better than Arjuna. No, we are doing chanting more than Arjuna. Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
We are better than Arjuna. Arjuna never did japa. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Rest of them?
Arjuna was a pure devotee of Krishna.
Exactly. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So for pure devotees also, you are supposed to do japa. That's different. But then Arjuna was so exalted. Gopis were exalted. The only thing 24/7, they were thinking only were Krishna. But unfortunately, if we do not do japa, we won't be able to think. So we are at least focusing our mind for 2 hours, 16 rounds, so that we will think Krishna. The purpose of telling japa is so that we get the remembrance of Krishna. But the same thing is not applicable for Arjuna, because Arjuna is 24/7 thinking of Krishna, and in the Yuddha Bhumi, he cannot be doing japa in one hand. But when he is chanting, he says, right, Yuddha you do, you're thinking of me. So Arjuna, every bana he releases, he has only Krishna in his mind. Right? So that's the speciality of Arjuna. And quality of reciprocation. In proportion to devotional, Krishna will reciprocate, right? Which we already saw in the 4th chapter. Arjuna, I reciprocate according to, to my devotees. I am not partial, but I do reciprocate, right? Happens for us. Imagine you have 2 kids, and one kid anyway takes the food and eats. Another kid takes in a plate and gives, Mama, you eat first. What do? Hey, come on, you eat and you take and put in the kid's mouth. Yes or no? Or Papa, I'm going to give you this. Eat. What would be your first thing? No, you eat, ma. Or I will take a bite, you eat. Do you do that, or say, okay, thank you so much, you've given it to me, I'm going to hog all of it? What would you do?
Yes, Mataji.
Right. So are you partial? The first child you have not given, for the other child you are giving and you're feeding. No, because you reciprocate accordingly. The child is anyway taken and eaten. Another child is not even eating, it's putting it in your mouth. And you don't want to finish it, right? So that's exactly what Krishna is doing. Because the pure bhakti is, pure devotees don't think of themselves. So it becomes Krishna's responsibility, right? Anxiety shifts to Krishna. Krishna will be thinking, oh my God, this devotee is not going to think of her or himself. Now it's my responsibility. I have to take care. So the anxiety shifts. Like Ambrish Maharaj, right? He just 24/7, he used to do everything. All the 9 process he used to delegate. Krishna was telling, hey, can I take care of you? He says, no, don't worry. I will take care of you. I will serve you. Krishna thought, oh my God, what will I do? Who's going to protect him? Right? He's protecting the world, but who will protect him? So he said, okay, Sudarshan, stay with him. I can manage, you stay with him. So Sudarshan is permanently left with Ambrish Maharaj. He says, okay, you better take care of him, right? You have to stay. So that's what Krishna will do, right? Of course, God helps those who help themselves. That's true. Ambrish also helped himself. But what I'm telling, in a normal situation, I'm talking about us. So obviously we are in the middle of the road. If the vehicle comes, please run. Don't tell that, oh my God, Krishna will help. No. We have to run. But the point here is this. And at the end today, you remind me of a story called Surdas and Tulsidas, right? If you remind me, I'll tell you the story, how this becomes relevant. Hare Krishna. So he reciprocates accordingly. And 9.28, Hare Krishna. Shubha Shubha Paler Evam Moksha Se Karma Bandhanai Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mam Upaishyasi. Hare Krishna.
In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
Mind fixed on him, and you do yukta, yoga yukta. So thinking you do, yoga, fight with devotion. That's what he said, Arjuna. That's why I spoke about Arjuna. Completely fixed mind, and automatically you get liberated. So that's what Krishna is telling. So he says, don't leave everything and run. Think of me, you will not be bonded by any vikarmic or karmic activity. Even karmic activity, when you do your karma, you don't get bonded. Hare Krishna. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha eva janti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. Hare Krishna.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Hare Krishna.
He says, Hare Krishna, thank you so much. He says, I envy no one, right? And I'm partial to, I'm not partial to anyone. He says, I'm equal to all, right? Krishna is equal to everyone. But whoever renders service unto me is devotion, in devotion is a friend to me, and I'm a friend to him, just as what we spoke about the child. 9.30, Hare Krishna. Api said dururacharo bhajante mam ananya-bhakti sadureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Hare Krishna.
Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in a devotional service, he is to be considered a saintly because he is properly situated. Hare Krishna.
So he says anyone who does, it doesn't mean every day he does, but one time if there is a slip, right, accidentally, if there is a mistake, and even if he does an abominable action, you should not make him feel bad. For example, you see a devotee, suddenly talking to a lady, right? Personally, don't judge, right? First of all, you don't know what is the relationship. That's the second thing. But apart, even if you think things are going, suddenly you see him having a fact, don't make a judgment, right? And we are great judges, great judges, right? So this just comes out very naturally to all of us. So don't do that, because that will become a Vaishnava avatar, and it becomes the most thing. So if you commit the most abominable action, even if he does, and you know for sure, don't do that. Can anyone guess the picture, who they are?
Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Prabhu.
Very true. Jagai Magai. Yes, thank you so much. If anyone does not know the story of Jagai Magai, you can type in chat. Hare Krishna. So Jagai Magai, yeah, very abominable, and that also Nityananda regulated. Hare Krishna. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvak chantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanithi name bhakta pranashyati. Hare Krishna.
He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Very clearly he's saying that, right? He becomes righteous and attains a lasting peace. He attains a lasting peace. And he says, O son of Kunti, boldly declare. Nobody can give this guarantee. So can anyone guess this one on the right, what it is?
Prahlad Maharaj and Narasimha Dev.
Exactly, Prahlad and Narasimha Dev. And Narasimha Dev and Prahlad, when Narasimha, after killing Hiranyakashipu, they were all scared. But Prahlad never ever bothered. Right? Never ever bothered. And imagine when Prahlad went, right? When Prahlad went and he went and hugged Narasimha Dev. So tell me one thing, anything in the mouth of an animal, let's say a lion is having something in its mouth, a living entity, is it scary or no?
Scary.
Scary, right? But what if that living entity is its own cub? Is it scary? Lion cub in the mouth, right? Is that small? Oh my
Scary,
God.
yeah.
Huh?
Even more scary.
No. How will a lion carry its baby?
Oh, in the mouth again.
Mouth. So if it is holding its own cub, will the cub be scared? Oh my God, I'm in the mouth of this lion. Or
No.
It's his mother or father.
Yes, so that's the difference, right? So what we see is very different. So the devotees, the way they see God is very different, right? Narasimha Dev, they were not scared, but they were very lovable. They were happy. There are some Mudas, and I came across specifically some Muda who argue why even God can be non-vegetarian. He really tore open. But what was the avatar, right? Narasimha Dev was an avatar of a lion, right? So obviously when someone gets into that, does not diminish the quality of the person, right? When you run to a lion and hug it, it's not going to keep quiet. Oh, you love me? Okay, I'm going to hug you. No, but Narasimha is God, right? So naturally he is also and Narasimha, anyone has problems in material world, in terms of sickness, in terms of legal issues, in terms of marriage issues, any complicated health issues, we tell Narasimha prayers, right? Because Narasimha, and in fact, our Ganesha prayed to Narasimha to get powers in tag for protection. So that's the specialty. So he says, he tell boldly that my devotee will not perish. Classic example, father tried to kill, and father is not a normal father, right? Everything he tried, stamping on the by the elephant, throwing from the mountain, nothing happened. So that's a specialty. Even if a Krishna is imperfect, Krishna considers him as saintly, right? So that's the specialty. Example is Indradev, and we know this Govardhan hill, and Indra asked for forgiveness, and he says, please remove me from the post. I'm not fit. Krishna says, I will remove not you. If I had to remove you, I would have done it long back, but I wanted to remove the ahankar, which is already removed. So go back and rule the Indraloka. So nice, right? So he doesn't remove what we have. He only removes unwanted things, right? And he gives what we lack. That's what is 9.22. Hare Krishna. Why Krishna considers imperfect devotee as saintly? Because he's properly situated in determination. Even if he does a mistake, it's okay for him. So if it is okay for Krishna, why are we worrying? Why are we trying to fight? Right? And I know many people who come and have spoken to me, temple, Mataji, she's so well dressed to the temple also. She's wearing so much makeup. Why not? If she's used to wearing makeup everywhere, why not dress for the temple? Why not dress for Krishna? Right? To me, I see that as a lot of devotion, because for me, I can't dress so well. So I think the person who's dressing so well is investing so much time to just go to temple to see Krishna. So isn't that person great? Because I definitely see it's great. Why not? Why not dress very well to the temple? When you want to dress very well for a marriage, when you want to dress very well for your office, why not dress very well to Krishna? Right? And he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. He becomes automatically, even if he's doing a mistake, Krishna will do. Right? Because that is what it says, right? Cheto darpanamarjanam tava baha devanti nirvapanam Shri Irava Chandrika Vidaranam Vishwavadu Jivanam. What does it mean? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. He's cleansing. It is Shishtashtaka from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm bringing this up because March 18th is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthday. Okay. And that is Janmashtami. And what happens is he is personally cleansing, right? We all have been in COVID days and we all kept our hand in the head. And I definitely did when I had to sweep my house and mop. I felt, oh my God, I don't remember when I did ever. Maybe when I was a small child, when I was 3 years, 4 years for fun, I have done. I don't even remember doing after that. But during COVID times, we literally had to do, right? So difficult. Now Krishna is doing this every day. We are so lazy to chant Maha Mantra, and that too, we don't concentrate. But Krishna every time is sitting and cleaning all the anarthas from our heart, right? So that's what it means. 9.32 Mami Bharta Vyapashritya Ye Pishuyu Papayunaya Shriyo Vaishyas Tata Sudras Yati Param Gatim. Hare Krishna. Param Gatim, final destination. Param means supreme. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Sudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's telling any classification, whether it's a woman or a Vaishya or a Sudra, there is absolutely no problem. Always there is nothing which is a predecessor. We saw, right? No qualification. Irrespective of gender, class, caste, you can reach me, is what he is saying. And 9.33. Please go ahead.
Somebody else?
Sorry.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotee and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in a loving service unto me.
So very clear it is how much more this is for the Brahmanas, right? So imagine for the Brahmanas how it is going to be, right? The devotees, and so if you're talking about Vaishyas and Sudras itself have access to him. So we don't need to talk about Brahmanas and saintly kings, because kings are none but the representatives of Krishna, and Brahmanas have come and they represent the head of Krishna to take the words. So you all know this, right? So I'm going to jump screen share for a second. Brahmanas are considered to be the head of Krishna, right? So the head, because the intellect part is transformed. The Kshatriyas are supposed to be the arms because they protect, right? The portion, this one, because their arms are for protection and Kshatriyas are for protection. Now the Vaishyas are supposed to be the waste, right? So food, all the materials, all the great things, those are considered as Vaishyas. And Sudras are the legs of Krishna. So can anyone tell me that are the legs of Krishna not good? Can you tell the head is great, but the leg is not good?
No, all are equally important.
Exactly. And in fact, when we go to temple, what do they say? We focus on the leg, right? They say that first start with the leg and then go, right? So that means we are seeing the leg. So don't look down on Sudras. Whenever they say lower caste, Sudra or women, it does not mean lower in that sense. They are talking about Gurukul was there, those days was exclusively there for Kshatriyas and the Brahmin class. Brahmin class anyways got Brahmin education because most of the time the father himself used to educate him. And if you're talking about Vaishyas, yes, they also to an extent had, but women were not allowed to go to Gurukul, so did the Sudras. They did not, right? So therefore their knowledge is very difficult. So if you ask an uneducated person, economics or anything, it's difficult, right? Why are we all struggling to understand Bhagavad Gita? Is that language so difficult? No, because we are not educated in that field. Likewise, when there is a lady who is not educated, it's very difficult for her to grapple. But intelligent wise, physically, if you see, women are, first let's go mentally. Mentally, we all are today telling that women are more intelligent. Physically, we are reading that Krishna is the only Purusha. So where is the concept of man and women? All are female entities, right? So technically the concept which they are talking about here, and women do a lot of physical activities similar. In military, they are there, they fly, right? All management top positions are held. Some of the banks, HSBC, CEO, Naina Lal Kidwal, right? Axis Bank, Shikha Sharma. So they are all women. Chanda Kochar, ICICI Bank. So now, so you have men reporting. So how do you tell women? Is because of the fact that they are, it's not about the intelligence level. They matter. They are talking about the access to education system was less. Therefore, their understanding could be less. So that's the concept with which. So I wanted to clarify this because many times when you read, you have to talk in that relevance. I know there are a couple of questions in the chat. I will finish this and I will definitely answer. Even unqualified classes also achieve Krishna by his mercy. So that is what he says. No distinction in classes because Varna Ashram, Varna system is created for purification, not for biasness. So why is Hitler hated? Because he did see bias. So none of this is held for the purpose of casteism for seniority or juniority. It's all held for this purpose. So indicates power of the devotional service and pure devotees. Most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified, right? So easiest way of purification. I don't understand Shastras. I don't do anything. Take a shelter of a devotee. Example, Jagai Magai were so horrible people, but the moment they came across pure devotee, Nityananda, they got purified, right? And that's exactly what's happening to us. Prabhupada exists today also. Here is Vani, read his books. There is purity. He lives in the books. So by doing that, we automatically will get purified. Importance of shelter. Vyapas Shrita, one who has taken complete shelter of Krishna, then one can become greater than the great jnanis, and these pure devotees can enable people of lower classes, right? That's a specialty. Why him? Prabhupada have been dealing with hippies. All the four things they did: sexual habits, gambling, intoxication, drugs, even worse of that, right? Meat eating, probably that's the only thing they ate as a full meal. And they all transform, right? They all transferred. Can you imagine from what level they are at what level? And today we have debates in our family, right? Anyway, gambling and not at least illegal sex is not there. Intoxication may be less, but not like, you're into drugs and all that, right? Very rare probably. And for meat eating, we have debates in families, right? We have debates. I hear my friends and relatives, many of them who keep debating. Oh, you non-vegetarian is debatable. Why aren't we non-vegetarian? Did Arjuna not eat non-veg? Who told Kshatriyas have eaten non-veg? So if you go back to the history of non-veg is what? Where punishments given when in the jail to crucify, and then people started liking. I'm talking with absolute faith here because I was a non-vegetarian. I used to even tell I will not take vegetarian. I will take only non-vegetarian because if fasting is giving up something, then I'll give up on vegetarianism. So we used to talk all this, not very far, 5 years from ahead. 5 years behind, right? So you don't need to justify someone when you give up something. You justify someone when you are doing something. And why do people argue? Because there is a guilt in it. Haven't we learned in childhood in your moral science class, do ahimsa, don't speak a lie, do not do harm to animals? Have we not learned it when we were in class 1 or 2? Aren't we?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
It is not new to us. It is just that we don't want to follow, right? And suddenly one day when we say this is compassion, we have people from all sides pouncing on us, telling, who told? Isn't this doing? Isn't that wrong? Right? So this is what is a talk. So why am I saying all this is because you will come across all these kinds of things. Do not stop. Bhakti, Krishna has told, is the ultimate thing. So don't go by all these mental concoctors. They are materialistic people. Krishna will handle them. Your relationship is between you and Krishna. Do not let go your Krishna consciousness for the sake of anyone. That's a very costly price. Hare Krishna. And nobody deserves that. Hare Krishna. 9.34 Manmana Baba Mad Bhakto Madhyati Mad Namashkuru Mame Vaishyasti Yuktvevam Atmanam Mat Parayana. Hare Krishna.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Hare Krishna.
Right, he very clearly, and this is almost similar, not exact, but almost repeated twice, 18.65. So he says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, right? Always think of me. Man mana, mind. Always thinking is mind. Mad bhakto, right? Keep bhakti, right? Always offer obeisances. Mad yaji, mad namaskuru, right? Worship me. And completely absorb. Mame vaishyasya yutvaivam. Always keep absorbed in me, right? Atmanam, mat parayanam. Mat parayanam is my loka. You will come to me. So he's giving that guarantee. Right? So that's the most important thing. So a quick revision, 1 to 3 Shrunu. Here about Krishna, right? His qualification, disqualification. 9.4 to 9.10, Aisvarya Jnana. Acinta, Bheda, Abheda philosophy. Jnana, right? About his various opulences, Aisvaryam, right? 11 to 15, non-worshippers and worshippers. We saw this. And 16 to 25, Krishna is the supreme object and the objective, right? So with all this, right, manmana bhakti mat bhakto, right, completely focus, worship me, and engage, become my devotee, offer obeisances, worship me, you will surely come to me. And this is how Krishna says, and this is his beautiful abode. And you all are having a relationship. So with this, we will continue our opulences later. Today, he's just talking about himself, what are the basic do's, don'ts, and all that, and tomorrow he is going to tell his opulences. And someone asked flute in the market and flute which Krishna are. Okay, the spiritual world is different. Here in the material world, whatever we are having, right? For example, chair, table does not have conscience. It's non-living. Whereas Radhika has conscience, you have conscience, cat has conscience, tree has conscience, plant has conscience. If I cut my finger and I leave it outside, it does not have, it becomes matter because it is matter. Because soul is not there. Same way, if I cut wood, and even if the table is made of a wooden chair, it does not have conscience because it's away from the plant. The flute in Krishna is different because the flute in Krishna's hand in Goloka Vrindavan is a devotee, like the Sudarshan Chakra. The grass, everything over there has life, and they are serving Krishna in the Santaras, serving in neutrality. Cow, all of them are in Shantaras. So is the and all that. So flute is also a devotee. Hare Krishna. I hope I've answered your question. Yes, we will play the chanting audio at the end.
Mataji, one question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead and ask.
Mataji, this question is relating to this ancestors.
Yes.
We offer yearly, in some particular days, we offer food to the ancestors. Is it to please the Krishna or is it to please my ancestors?
It is to, you are basically, Prabhu, there is one story, right? Every time our ancestors die, we always think, till the previous day, we'll be thinking horrible person, idiot, stupid, everything. But once a person is dead, we don't talk bad. But suddenly the person will become like God. Oh, he's so great. He's superb. He's amazing. He's the best person. I know he's never done mistakes. Yes or no? And even deep inside, if you see, we also know it's not true.
Yes, Mother.
So I've done mistakes, but we don't want to say it. Good, we don't say it. But we have to be true to reality. Why am I saying that is, whatever you offer for the ancestors, actually we're offering only to Vishnu, Yagna Purusha. And through him, you are praying him to him that your ancestors should please take my prasad. I'm trying to impress you so that you take, and you know, wherever that ancestor is, give him some credits and make him feel. That's the actual prayers you're doing. But indirectly, people tell that, oh, ancestor, I want to live more. Ancestor, you know, I want this dress. Ancestor, this is your child, your grandchild, you take care of them. No, taking care of your child is not there anymore because your ancestor is probably gone and reborn also. He's now supposed to take care of some other child.
Yes, that is my question actually, because our ancestors gone and they should take some other form, whether it is a human form or animal form, whatever form. But then what is the question of offering the food to them? That is my question.
So, very nice question. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, you're offering the food to Vishnu. Now, if you're asking why am I bothered, the ancestor is already gone, don't do that. Because your ancestor was your ancestor, and as long as you are alive, you have to do the karma, right? That's your job. That's your responsibility. You cannot forgo because we have not become pure devotees yet. When we become pure devotees, we will think, but currently we are not. So we are neophyte. Even in Ashtanga Yoga, they say when you're in the initial stage, you don't give up your karma or your work. Only when you're elevated. So today we are not at all elevated. We are devotees. So please do not leave thing. You have to do Pitru Puja. You don't analyze whether he's reborn or whether he's in Goloka Vrindavan. Continue to do your puja because you can always pray for your ancestors, even if he's in the body of someone else. Because that's your duty. Cross the line, not doing duty. However, your logic and understanding is amazing, Prabhu. Very true. Thank you so much for it. Yes. So you're not offering directly to your ancestor. You are offering through Vishnu and telling your Vishnu to take care of your ancestor.
Yes.
Yeah. So Prabhu, if your father is born as a child of someone, you still want your father to be happy, right?
Yes.
That's the point. Hare Krishna. So much.
Mataji, one doubt.
Sorry, Mamata, just 1 second. The ISKCON Delhi has idols if Lalita Devi and Pratibha Devi in the main shrine. What is the significance? Oh, they are the gopis. Even Chennai has. So they are the deities of, so the gopi, Radharani is the main. And in fact, Mayapur has all the 8 Sakis. 8 in the left and 8 in the right. Here, since they can't, due to space constraint, the most important is Lalita Saki. So they have kept there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I wanted you brought in. So Arjuna comes back in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and for the next class, you're going to tell me as what? So, right? As what? And who are they? Whose powers? Arjuna comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Right? So you will come back to me on that. And yes, Mataji, sorry for interrupting you. Please go ahead and ask.
Mataji, I heard a story that a saint was kidnapped and by his relatives, and he was forced to eat non-veg, and they were torturing him. Later, that saint escaped, and those kidnappers also regretted, and the saint changed them, and they were chanting. In that case, will God not punish them?
Punish the saint or the relative?
Or the relatives who were later changed.
See, that way, okay, I'll come to that. So, 1 second. So let's say that you and me are doing Mahamantra, correct or not?
Yes.
So we'll come to veg or non-veg later, Shreya. So can you tell me that you and me have never done ever any mistake in our life till date?
We made a
lot of mistakes.
Yes or no? But
yes,
Shreya is not confused.
Definitely.
You have done right. So do you think you deserve punishment or you think you should be forgiven?
Forgiven.
Why? You want for the relatives of the saint, but for you and me alone, you feel you should be forgiven. Why?
Because they were kidnapping the saint and they was torturing. When he was chanting Mahamantra, they were like beating him and
Definitely
doing
it's a
all.
Vaishnava avatar. That is true. I'm not questioning that. But what I'm telling you is, haven't we done Vaishnava avatar without knowing or knowing? I'm just telling you. I'm very seriously asking, right? For example, I'm just giving you an example, right? Totally an example. So I had been to Hyderabad. We had not Hyderabad, sorry, Goa for a conference, right? So we had the South conference. So so it's a banking community. So typically I work for a bank, and so I was zonal at South for Axis. So there was this incident, right? So I came from an MNC and I joined an Axis bank. So invariably in Goa, when we all had this conference, the point, there was one person, very sweet, who came to me and told, right, and he was not Jing Bang, he told very clearly that, you know, I know few of them over there and they've been telling that you're smoking and you're drinking. You can quote my name. I don't have a problem, but I think we should end. Not because it's you, but it's not right to talk like that about a woman. So I said, forget about women or man. That's a different story. But talking bad about a person when the person is not doing is not right. First of all, talking bad is wrong, but without the person doing itself is wrong, right? So now I went there very politely. I didn't get angry on anything. I said, who did? Okay. So I said, okay, you just go and join the gang and I'll connect later. So I went there and I said, excuse me, yes. When did you see me smoking and drinking? I asked him straight. Okay. And this person was supposed to report to me. That was even worse, right? So he looked, and you should see the moment I asked this question, his eyes went on, you know, they were like about 14 of them in that gang. His eyes went on 10 people. He looked at him. That is when I realized that, you know, that I never told who. And immediately said, you told. The point is, he was not even sure whom he was speaking bad about. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So without even knowing, so many people, so that's been his quality, and it's not. So this, forget about Vaishnava avatar. Isn't that morally also wrong to comment about someone who does not do and spread such a bad name? Because of that, someone will start behaving next level badly with the other person. You understand what I'm saying? right? You're a girl, you can understand better. So you do not pass comments and you create a situation which can harm the person, right? So why? So these kind of things are wise, and we also continue. It's not them. Even now we'll continue, right? So if, for example, I wear a jean, I wear a t-shirt. So if, for instance, right, I go in a crowd, right, and I wear a cooler, right? I wear a cooler because I have a dilated pupil. So you leave me on that. So if I remove the cooler accidentally, you know, for me, my eyes can really harm me. So now for cooler becomes my necessity. You get the point, right? So it is not that the cooler is a luxury. So even if the temple is very big and I walk in for a long time, I will be having the cooler because if it's going to hit me, I have to bring it down. So now I keep a dupatta, that's different. But does that mean that, you know, I'm not a devotee of Krishna? No, right? So why am I bringing all this is, all of us have done sins. And now today we are all praying, oh God, you know, forgive me from the sin, and Krishna has to release us. What he did is wrong. He has done Vaishnava avatar. That's between Krishna and them. If they have got moksha, so Durvasa Muni insulted Amrish, but Amrish prayed. You know, Jagai Magai also made a mistake, right? They insulted Nityananda. They threw a stone on the head of Nityananda, Balram, right? But still Nityananda forgave and seeked forgiveness. So like that, the sannyasi, so Krishna is not forgiving the relative. Krishna is forgiving them for the sake of the sannyasi who's requesting. So I always take this example. The tolerance is there among us also, right? Don't we, especially men, right? Men put up with the wife's brother. He may be a horrible fellow, and yet they will put up. Yes or no, Prabhuji? He may be the worst fellow. He may be a good guy, but he may also be a worst guy. Why? Is he that he loves his brother-in-law? I don't want to take sister-in-law in this context. Because he is feeling that my wife will be happy. Yes or no? He's just doing for that. Same way, we also tolerate a lot of people, right? We may probably tolerate you know, our in-laws many times. Okay, one partially maybe because you know, they're elders, but partially also because we feel that, you know, okay, we don't want to hurt the husband or the spouse. Yes or no? Bottom line. So why do we do that? Same way, Krishna is tolerating a lot of others for the sake of us. When Prahlad was in trouble, Krishna personally, you know, asked this particular thing, you know, can you offer benediction to my father? We can argue, Hare, Hiranyakashipu is a horrible person. Why are you giving? But Krishna, it's his choice. He's telling, okay, your relative is horrible, but I like you. If you want him to be happy and if his happiness makes you feel happy, I will liberate. So, Shreya, are you convinced or you still have an issue with them being liberated?
Convinced, Mata.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any other question? Okay, there are. Yeah, Naranarayana in previous birth. Perfect. Narasimha-dev is considered as Devata, as Bhagavan. Narasimha-dev is not an incarnation of anyone. Narasimha-dev exists in Vaikuntha. Also, he just came in the same form. Or avatar means coming in the original form. Krishna comes in the original form. Rama also comes in the original form. There is Ayodhya there. There is Narasimha there. We will share Goloka chart. Go through, you will see all that. Hare Krishna. So they are very much original expansion, Tattvas, Vishnu Tattvas. Narayana in the previous birth, yes. Next birth, what is he? Right? If there are no other questions, are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, let's. Neetu, do you have any Prabhupada's video or you want to play the chanting video?
Mata's story.
Yes, I will tell the story. I need 2-3 minutes, so I will come back. So, any other question? Okay. So, there is one question I'll answer and I'll tell you the story. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, one question, Mataji, small question.
Yes, Prabhu.
This word transcendental we use very frequently. What exactly that means, that word, the transcendental?
Spiritual.
Spiritual. Okay. Anything related to spiritual, we use the transcendental.
Interchangeably used. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Anuradha, very beautiful question here. All of us have been worshipping demigods only. Chodna nahi hai jodna. Don't have to leave. Demigods are all devotees of Krishna, right? When we are telling pure devotee, they are devotees. So you don't insult them. You don't give up on them. Pray along. But the only thing is, don't have a materialistic business. Right? So don't have a materialistic business and genuinely do it. So that is what we are saying. And yes, Neetu, you can play Prabhupada's video. They ask stories, so I will tell. The story I'm going to talk about is about Ramdas and Tulsidas, right? So sorry, Surdas and Tulsidas. Is it Surdas? Yeah. So yes, that's right. So so this is a combination where Surdas is a devotee of Krishna, and he is blind from childhood. Still he's blind. And you have Tulsidas, who is a devotee of Rama. So in this village, they constantly have this friction where Rama is great is Tulsidas' perception, Krishna is great is Surdas' perception. Now you all tell me, who is great, Rama or Krishna? Type in the chat. I'm going to continue the story. So with this combination of both continuously fighting, what happens is Surdas goes to the extent of, in fact, when there is a fight, the village loves it. So the village goes on asking that we want to see how the fight, we want to see what's going to happen. One day we should get both together and have this fight done. And there was one day floods in the village, and everyone had to go out of the village to another village. So everyone had this journey, and instantly all were talking, and both of them met with a frictionless talk. So Surdas and Tulsidas were talking, and Surdas was saying Krishna is great, and Tulsidas says no, Rama is great. And villagers were so excited. Yes, wow, the day has come. Long awaited, right? Krishna always satisfies everybody's desire. So is Rama. And what happened is this fight is going on. And at that time, there is this wild animal which comes, and they get very scared. Oh my God, this animal has come. And everybody runs in different direction. And immediately Tulsidas thinks, oh my God, Surdas is blind. He can't run, right? There is the greatness of a devotee. A devotee is very compassionate. So immediately he says, Surdas, there is an animal, just hold me and let's run. And Surdas immediately says, take me to the closest tree, right? Which is tall, and we will climb. So immediately they run. And when the tree arrived, he leaves Surdas and he says, climb. So immediately Surdas climbed, and he wants Surdas to climb. And then he was about to fall. He says, what is this? What a devotee am I? I am constantly telling, who is great? Who is great? I am believer of Rama, and I am so silly. And now for a moment when there's a problem, I am trying to escape the problem. Okay, fine. If I am a true devotee of Rama, and if that is true, if my prayers to Rama is true, I will not climb the tree. I will stay here. And if I'm not, let the animal eat. And if I am, the animal will run away. And he says, Japa, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, and he goes on. He has no idea what happens, and he sees the animal coming, but then after that he doesn't know. And when he opens the eye, animal is gone, right? It ran away. So then he says, Surdas, please come down. And he tells to Surdas, Surdas is so happy and eyes are filled with water. Surdas says, you're great. You're a great devotee, because Tulsidas, you're a great devotee. Imagine Rama, powers are definitely great. And please, I apologize. He says, okay, fine. Now will you agree that Rama is greater than Krishna and I am greater? He says, no, I agree you're great. I agree Rama is also great, but I don't agree in comparison. He says, why? Why don't you tell me why you went up? He says, no, even I thought for a second I wanted to go up. But then I thought, this is a small task. I can do it. If I call, 100% Krishna will come. There is no doubt. But imagine he's in Goloka Vrindavan. He has to leave Goloka. He's in a pastime. He's relishing with them. He will drop everything because he will get anxious of me. He'll come running. So let me climb. If I can't anyway, he will come. If I fall or something, already he's come, right? He's come in your form to hold my hand and run. Why should I now go up and tell Krishna, 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 come? What I can do, I will do. Why disturb him? And now Tulsidas said, I don't know whether Ram, both are equal, Krishna or Ram, because they are so great, right? But definitely you're a great devotee, because at least I wanted to bring Rama under test. But you have so much of confidence he'll come. And on top of it, you are telling that why trouble him? So definitely as a devotee, you're great, because you don't want to give a little bit trouble also to Krishna. So the conclusion is, thanks for various answers in the chat, that, Surdas is great, Krishna is greater, but all are tattvas, right? All of them, whether it's Narasimha, all are equally powerful. Maybe little more power, little less power, doesn't matter, but they are all Vishnu tattvas and they are all powerful and all devotees are great. When you say Rama, you will go to not Vrindavan, what do you call Vaikunta? When you say Krishna, you go to Goloka Vrindavan, because Prahlad would want to come to Narasimha, not to Rama, and Hanuman would want to come to Rama, not to Krishna. So the form you like is what you want to take, right? So it's very, very, very important. So please go ahead and pray Krishna, pray Rama, whatever, it doesn't matter. But end of the day, have confidence and faith. Shraddha is the most important. Shraddha is what differentiates Uttamadhikari, Madhyadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari, right? So our focus should be becoming a Uttamadhikari and not tell, oh, that's too much, I can't do it. No. Don't do that. Hare Krishna, and I hope you enjoyed the story of Sudas. And finally, the villagers, I didn't conclude, came and they are shocked. Oh my God, these two jokers went. I thought they become bloodshed, and they are holding the hand and coming and concluding. All are great, right? Most important, be a devotee, always have compassion, right? Hare Krishna. Compassion is not weakness. Compassion is a quality of greatness and goodness in you. Hare Krishna, right? Come on, all of you, Hare Krishna. Did you enjoy the story?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. Neetu, please, I'll go on mute. You can play Prabhupada's video. And after that, stop and continue or whatever, chanting, right? I'm here. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, ma. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam.
Where decided in the scriptures that Lord Brahma rides on a swan, Hamsa. Is this, we take this mean it's a real swan or is it something symbolic?
Not symbolic, it's fact. Why do you say symbolic?
It's rather unusual.
Unusual, what experience you have got? You have no experience. Have you got any experience of other planetary system? What is there? Then your experience is very teeny. So you should not calculate Brahma's life and other things by your teeny experience. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that the duration of life of Brahma, Sahasra Juga Pajantam Arahajat Brahmano Vidu. Now Brahma's life, it is stated in the Shastra. We have already explained that we accept the authoritative statement of Shastra. Now Brahma's life is stated there. Arahat means his one day is equal to our 4 yugas. 4 yugas means 4,300,000 years. And multiply it by 1,000. Sahasra Juga Pajantam. Sahasra means 1,000. And Juga means the 4,300,000 years makes a Juga. And multiply it by 1,000. That period is Brahma's one day. Similarly, he has got one night. Similarly, he has got 1 month. Similarly, he has got 1 year, and such 100 years he will live. So how you can calculate? How it is within your experience? You'll think something mysterious? No. Your experience is nothing. Therefore, you have to take experience from the perfect person, Krishna. Then your knowledge is perfect. That I have already said. Don't try to understand with your teeny experience everything. Then you will be failure. That I have already explained. That you are coming here, even though you are not initiated, that is also service. So, if you deposit 1 cent daily, one day it may become $100. So when you get the $100, you can get the business. So you come here daily, 1 cent, 1 cent. When it will be $100, you will become a devotee. So this is not wasted. It is, that is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krita punna punya. Krita punna. Krita means done. And Sukadeva Goswami is describing when Krishna was playing with his cowherd boys' friends. So he was describing that these cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna, they have not come to this position in one day. Krita punna punja, after life, having performed pious activities, now they have come to this position, that they are allowed to play with the Supreme. So, Krita punna punja, any pious activities done for the sake of Krishna, that is your permanent asset. It will never be lost. So go on, increasing the asset. One day it will so help you that you will be able to play with Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness movement.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
अथ नवमोऽध्यायः राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमं प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् राजविद्या राजगुह्यं पवित्रमिदमुत्तमम् प्रत्यक्षावगमं धर्म्यं सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम् अश्रद्धधानाः पुरुषा धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि मया ततमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थितः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावनः यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नमवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनमसक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितम् परं भावमजानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशामोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रुताः महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजन्त्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतोमुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वधाहमहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यमहमग्निरहं हुतम् पितामहस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार ऋक्सामयजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवः प्रलयस्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहमहं वर्षं निगृह्णाम्युत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैविद्या मां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाध्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान् ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालम् क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्यविधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च वन्दिते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्रास्तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्या भक्ता राजश्रयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकमिमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्त्वैव मात्मानं मत्परायणः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगो नाम 9मोऽध्यायः।
Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna to everyone. We'll end the meeting. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.